I've been trying to find, like, I've been reading a bunch of horror anthology books and shit recently. I bought the Necronomicon, the compilation of all of H.P. Lovecraft's, his short stories. Like any anthology book, a lot of hits, a lot of misses. What's a purportedly true story, Wendigoon, that you would point me to that has a shit ton of lore around it that might actually scare me? It doesn't even have to be. It doesn't have to be demonic. It could be anything in your, like, the spooky realm you inhabit.
A true story, though, right?
Yeah, something that, like, I could look to it, and it could even be like, we don't even know why this happened, but it did.
The ones that always freak me out are disappearance cases, like, you know, got into thin air type things. I recently did one about the Yuba County 5. That case freaks me out a lot, but I think I have a decent explanation for it. It's not a fun answer, but it's like something that doesn't involve supernatural, right?
Is that like a murderer case?
Maybe. It's 5 guys went up into the mountains under very weird circumstances. They were never supposed to go up there. It's a long story. But 4 of them, their bodies end up being found. 1 disappeared. A lot of beliefs are that the one who disappeared was the guy who murdered. I made a video about it recently. I don't think that's what happened. Instead, I think that he was forced off the mountain. I think the boys were chased by someone up there, which isn't a fun answer. That doesn't make you feel better, but it's not explicitly supernatural like a lot of explanations around those stories tend to be. Some of the ones that I would say are more creepy in their unexplained nature are the case of Dennis Martin. I made a video about that, and my conclusion at the end was like, oh, who knows? Like,
I don't know, but it's scary, isn't it, guys?
Anyway, that's weird. See y'all next week. Yeah. The case of Dennis Martin's up there. The case, what was that boy? Hold on. Let me type this in real quick.
You're good.
Boy.
Dennis Martin.
Missing.
Such an innocent name.
Yeah, he was 6, I think. He was 5 or 6.
Oh.
Garrett Bardsley. That's the other one I was thinking of. This was a Boy Scout. He was out on a fishing trip with his father. I can get into the details of these if you want, but if you just want the names, Garrett Bardsley, Dennis Martin, and then there's one more. Carried. I can put in like the highlights of the case, and typically it will pull up. Jared Atadero, Spanish. So Jared Jaryd, and then Atadero Atadero. Those are ones that it's kind of like, yeah, Taylor, go read that and tell me what you think, because I have no idea. That's weird. That's creepy. So the into thin air stuff tends to mess with me a lot, because typically the like details around it are so bizarre that it's like, I don't know, maybe his entire family decided to kill him for no reason. That's the only thing that could make sense in a lot of these. The unexplained stuff tends to keep me up at night. So yeah, I have fun.
I wrote all those down. I'm going to look into all.
What about the
little Jared, Garrett, and Dennis?
What about the events that Fire in the Sky are based on? That logger from Oregon or wherever who was disappeared for multiple days, 3 to 5 or something. All of his buddies saw the light. They were all out there working, logging. He got separated, went to investigate the light, goes missing days later, naked, and passed the polygraph for whatever that means, you know.
Yeah.
But still passed it, and says he was abducted by aliens and they did gruesome experiments on him.
So that's another one of those cases that's kind of like, yeah, I mean, whatever you think. Like it's such bizarre circumstances, I can't pin it down. I haven't research that one the way I would like a video topic, because I haven't made it, but from what little I do know about that case, my idea around it was always either an intense psychosis like from him, like maybe he decided to fake the lights in order to trick his friends and then like make up this whole story or whatever, either out of some level of wants to be famous, I guess, or psychosis, like I said. But even that's exactly.
When you say fake, fake the lights, what is? Can you backfill me?
Like I got a little experience in pyrotechnics and such. I'd have a hard time fooling y'all that the aliens were over the hill.
Yeah, exactly.
So in this story, there were alien lights, or supposed alien lights that people claim to have seen.
Oh yeah, Kyle knows. Again, I haven't researched him well. Kyle probably knows the details better than I do.
There was a bright light over the hill, like a blinding light that they didn't want to investigate because all the other grown men were afraid. And this guy's like, ho, 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 and runs off and doesn't show up for days. And when he comes back, he's like naked in a phone booth somewhere calling 911. But yeah,
the aliens are incredibly sexually aggressive.
They were. If you watch that scene, it's so upsetting because they're very matter-of-factly. Like, it's like when you see the crocodile hunter with an animal. Like, oh, look at this, fucking measure, staple this through its fucking ear. Yeah, they don't feel pain like we do. Fucking roll him over. Let's shove a finger or two up his ass. See what? Yeah, it's the cloaca. Yeah, she's almost ready. yeah. Did you wash your hands? Fuck it. Roll her over.
You're like being peeled alive on an alien table, screaming, and they're like, "That's just air releasing from its lung." You just feel a sense of pressure, like a fish. You're just stop it, and it's like, wow,
see how it's all high pitched like that? Yeah, that's air escaping. They breathe it. Yeah, I know.
And then a big inhale, that's air escaping back in. For another escape.
It escapes the other way. Now that scene in the movie is one of the scariest movie scenes ever. Like it's terrifying.
It's one thing for someone to have you and want to inflict pain on you because they understand it, but to be kidnapped by something that doesn't even have the concept of pain, that's just there and treating you like another, like, I don't know, like a chunk of aluminum to be ored out or like an animal to be weighed and measured and cataloged. It's real scary. And the actor. And so the aliens don't look like super realistic or anything, but they're scary. They're scary to look at. Like they have those, it's the traditional gray aliens with the big heads and everything, but something about them is more predatory and mean, for lack of a better word. It's like they're aggressively, like at one point he's like, "Arr!" And one of them's like, "Oh yeah, give me a handful of this brown muck to shove into its mouth." And he's just like,
okay, well, that's awful. That's not even science. Can you imagine if you had
science
a lemur,
we can't understand?
If you had like a lemur on a table that you're torturing, and you're like, we need to get the information from this lemur's biology and its metrics, and it's just like, and you're just like, no, that's obnoxious. Put this Quickcrete in its mouth. Shut it up. Like, no, now it's not even science anymore. That's just that's just Saw 6. Like when they really lost the plot.
That's just mean. That's all that is.
I like the idea that to the lemur, a syringe, they're just like, he's just poking us with a sharp stick over and over. Like they don't see any scientific benefit to you stabbing them over and over. So when the thing like puts a handful of axle grease in his mouth, which is what it looks like. It's like they have no idea that this is this is magical axle grease. It tells us everything you need to know about a human.
10 out of 10 lemurs hate having their eyelids cut off and mascara smeared into it.
I hate that. We had to know if it was going to sting.